Listen up, because what I'm about to tell you will completely change how you view relationships forever. Most guys spend their entire lives chasing, pursuing, and bending over backwards for women who barely give them a second thought. They think more effort equals more attraction. They think proving their worth will make her value them. They're dead wrong. Here's the brutal truth nobody wants to admit. The moment you stop trying, everything changes. When you pull back that desperate energy, when you stop being available at her every beck and call, when you finally start valuing yourself, that's when she realizes what she had. That's when the regret hits like a freight train. Today, we're diving deep into the psychology behind why women only appreciate what they can't have, and why your pursuit has been pushing her away this entire time. By the end of this, you'll understand exactly why walking away is the most powerful move you can make. So buckle up, because this is going to shatter everything you thought you knew about attraction. Let me paint you a picture. You meet a woman, sparks fly, and you think you found something special. So what do? You start trying. You text her constantly. You make yourself available whenever she wants to hang out. You shower her with compliments and attention. You think you're being the perfect guy. Right. Wrong. Here's what's actually happening in her mind. Every text you send without her initiating, every time you drop your plans to accommodate hers, every compliment you give when she hasn't earned it, you're telling her brain that you're not the prize. You're the pursuer, not the pursued. And women, by evolutionary design, are attracted to men who are pursued, not men who pursue. Think about it logically. If a woman can have your attention anytime she wants, if she knows you'll always be there, if she's certain you'll never leave, where's the excitement? Where's the challenge? Where's the mystery that keeps her mind racing about you when you're not around? The uncomfortable truth is this. Your availability is killing her attraction. Every time you prove how much you want her, you're proving you're not worth wanting. It's backwards, it's frustrating, but it's reality. And the sooner you accept this, the sooner you can start attracting women instead of repelling them. What happens inside her mind when you stop trying? Now, here's where it gets fascinating. The moment you stop chasing, something shifts in her psychological landscape. All that attention she was getting from you, the validation, the ego boost, the security of knowing someone wanted her, suddenly disappears. And just like that, you become interesting again. See, when you were constantly pursuing her, she had you figured out. She knew exactly how you felt, exactly what you'd do, exactly how you'd react. Predictable, boring, safe. But the moment you pull back, you become a mystery again. Her brain starts asking questions it wasn't asking before. Why isn't he texting me anymore? What's he doing? Who's he with? Did I do something wrong? Did he lose interest? Is there someone else? These questions create what psychologists call a dopamine loop. Her brain becomes fixated on solving the puzzle of your sudden absence. The same way a slot machine keeps people hooked with unpredictable rewards, your unpredictable availability starts hooking her attention. But here's the kicker. It's not just about attention. When you stop trying, you're unconsciously communicating something powerful, that you have options, that you're valuable enough to have other things, other people, other opportunities competing for your time. And women are hardwired to want men who other women want. The 5 stages of her regret when you walk away. Let me break down exactly what happens in her mind when you finally stop chasing. This isn't theory. This is observable psychology that plays out the same way every single time. Stage 1. Confusion and denial. At first, she doesn't know what to make of your sudden change. She's used to your constant attention, your immediate responses, your availability. When that suddenly stops, her first reaction is confusion. Maybe he's just busy, she tells herself. Maybe his phone died. She'll make excuses for your absence because the alternative, that you've lost interest, threatens her sense of control. This stage can last anywhere from a few days to a week, depending on how much you were pursuing her before. The heavier your pursuit, the longer this stage lasts, because the contrast is more jarring. Stage 2. Testing and reaching out. When the confusion doesn't resolve, she moves to testing. This is where she starts reaching out to you. Maybe it's a casual text, maybe it's a meme, maybe it's asking about something trivial. If you're genuinely wrong, if you've hurt someone unintentionally, if you've made a real mistake, then yes, apologize, but make sure it's sincere, specific, and followed by changed behavior. The key is to only apologize when you're actually wrong, not just to keep the peace. The key is to apologize for your actions, not for having standards or boundaries or feelings. A strong apology sounds like this. I was wrong to raise my voice. I let my frustration get the better of me, and I'm sorry for that. It won't happen again. A weak apology sounds like this. I'm sorry we fought. I'm sorry I got upset. I'm sorry for everything. See the difference? One takes responsibility for specific behavior while maintaining dignity. The other is just general groveling that accomplishes nothing except making you look weak. When you stop apologizing first, when you start maintaining your standards, when you begin valuing yourself enough to demand proper treatment, everything changes. Your relationships improve because they're built on mutual respect instead of your constant appeasement. Your self-confidence grows because you're no longer constantly tearing yourself down. Your presence becomes more powerful because people know you're not a pushover. You'll notice that conflicts actually decrease because people stop testing your boundaries once they know you'll enforce them. You'll notice that the people who stay in your life are the ones who actually respect you, while the ones who are just taking advantage of your weakness fall away. This isn't about becoming arrogant or cruel. This isn't about never showing vulnerability or admitting mistakes. This is about understanding the difference between being kind and being weak, between being understanding and being a doormat. Strong men can be kind without being weak. They can be understanding without being pushovers. They can maintain relationships without sacrificing their dignity. And they never, ever apologize first unless they're genuinely wrong. From this moment forward, you have a choice. You can continue apologizing first, continue prioritizing everyone else's comfort over your own dignity, continue teaching people that you don't value yourself enough to demand respect, or you can start standing your ground. You can start understanding that your feelings matter just as much as everyone else's. You can start believing that you deserve to be treated with respect. You can start acting like the strong, valuable man you actually are. The world is watching your behavior and making judgments about who you are based on what you do. When you stop apologizing first, when you start maintaining your standards, when you begin valuing yourself appropriately, the world takes notice. People start treating you differently. They start respecting your boundaries. They start valuing your presence. They start seeing you as someone who knows his worth and demands appropriate treatment. This is your wake-up call. This is your moment to decide what kind of man you want to be. The kind who apologizes for existing, or the kind who demands respect. The kind who always bends first, or the kind who stands firm in his principles. The choice is yours. But remember this, every time you apologize first when you're not wrong, you're voting for a version of yourself that doesn't command respect. Every time you stand your ground and maintain your standards, you're voting for a version of yourself that the world can't ignore. Stop apologizing for being a man with standards. Stop apologizing for having boundaries. Stop apologizing for expecting respect. The world has enough weak men already. It needs more strong ones. Be the man who stands his ground. Be the man who values himself. Be the man who never apologizes first unless he's genuinely wrong. Your future self will thank you for it. When you chase, you're essentially saying, please choose me, I'll do whatever you want. But attractive men flip this script. They communicate, I'm choosing to spend my time with you, but you need to earn that choice. Now, let's talk about how to actually stop trying in a way that creates attraction rather than just confusion. This isn't about playing games or being manipulative. It's about genuinely changing your approach to relationships and your relationship with yourself. Step 1. Understand your own value. Before you can stop chasing others, you need to start valuing yourself. Take inventory of what you bring to the table. Your skills, your passions, your goals, your character. Most guys who chase women have forgotten their own worth. They've made getting female approval their primary source of self-esteem. Start building a life that you're excited about, with or without romantic validation. Pursue your goals, develop your interests, strengthen your friendships. When you have a life you're genuinely excited about, you become naturally less available and more attractive. Step 2. Implement the 2:1 rule. Here's a practical strategy. For every 2 times she initiates contact, you initiate once. For every 2 times she suggests hanging out, you suggest it once. This isn't about being cold or calculating. It's about creating balance in the relationship dynamic. Most guys operate on a 10-to-1 ratio in her favor. They're always the ones reaching out, always the ones suggesting plans, always the ones putting in effort. By shifting to 2-to-1, you create space for her to invest in the relationship too. Step 3. Have non-negotiable standards. Stop accepting behavior that you wouldn't accept from anyone else just because you're attracted to her. If she cancels plans last minute, don't immediately offer to reschedule. If she takes days to respond to your texts, don't respond immediately to hers. If she treats you disrespectfully, don't make excuses for her behavior. Having standards isn't about being mean. It's about respecting yourself enough to require respect from others. Step 4. Develop genuine outcome. Independence. This is the most important step. You need to genuinely be okay with the possibility that she might not choose you. This isn't about pretending you don't care. It's about caring more about your own well-being than about any one person's approval. When you're truly outcome independent, you can engage with women from a place of curiosity and enjoyment rather than neediness and desperation. And that energy is incredibly attractive. Here's where most guys mess up. She starts showing interest again, and they immediately revert to their old patterns. They think, finally, she's interested. Now I need to lock this down. And they go right back to pursuing, chasing, and being overly available. Don't do this. When she comes back, maintain the same energy that attracted her in the first place. Continue to have standards. Continue to value your time. Continue to be selective about when and how you engage. Remember, she's not coming back because she suddenly realized you're amazing. She's coming back because your scarcity created value. If you become abundant again, that value disappears. Some guys worry that this approach will create unhealthy relationship dynamics long term. They think, if I have to play games to get her, won't I have to play games forever? But this misses the point entirely. This isn't about playing games. It's about establishing your value from the beginning. When you start a relationship from a position of mutual respect and balanced investment, you create a foundation for something healthy and lasting. The women who are only attracted to you when you're scarce aren't the women you want for long-term relationships anyway. The right woman will appreciate your self-respect and respond to it positively. She'll enjoy the fact that you're not desperate for her approval because it makes your choice to be with her more meaningful. The signs. She's genuinely regretting her choices. How do you know when her regret is genuine versus just missing the validation you provided? Here are the key indicators. She starts asking deeper questions about your life, your goals, your thoughts. She's not just looking for attention. She's trying to understand who you are as a person. She makes genuine effort to spend quality time with you, not just seeking validation through texts or social media interactions. She starts reciprocating your energy rather than just receiving it. She initiates conversations, she suggests plans, she puts in actual effort. She becomes more vulnerable with you, sharing things she doesn't share with everyone. This indicates she sees you as someone special, not just another source of attention. Most importantly, she starts treating you with the respect you should have been getting all along. Why some women never come back and why that's good. Not every woman will come back when you stop trying. Some will simply move on to the next source of validation, and that's actually a blessing in disguise. The women who don't come back were never genuinely interested in you as a person. They were interested in what you could do for them, the attention, the validation, the ego boost. When you stop providing that, they have no reason to stick around because they were never invested in you to begin with. These women do you a favor by leaving. They free you up to find someone who actually appreciates your value, someone who wants to be with you for who you are, not just for what you can give them. This isn't just about one woman or one situation. This is about fundamentally changing how you approach dating and relationships. Instead of trying to convince women to like you, you start evaluating whether they're worth your time and energy. Instead of seeing yourself as lucky to get female attention, you start seeing your attention as valuable and worth earning. Instead of being grateful for scraps of interest, you start expecting genuine enthusiasm and investment. This shift in mindset changes everything. It changes how you present yourself, how you communicate, how you respond to different situations. And women pick up on this change immediately. The final truth about attraction and regret. Here's what most guys don't understand. Women want to want you. They want to feel that excitement, that anticipation, that slight uncertainty that makes someone attractive. When you're constantly available and pursuing, you remove all of these elements from the equation. When you stop trying, you give her space to miss you, to think about you, to want you. You create the psychological conditions necessary for genuine attraction to develop. The regret she feels when you stop trying isn't just about missing your attention. It's about realizing she lost someone who could have been genuinely good for her, someone who cared about her when she didn't care about herself enough to appreciate it. But here's the most important part. By the time she regrets her choices, you should have already moved on to valuing yourself properly. Her regret shouldn't be your victory, your self-respect should be. The goal isn't to make women regret losing you. The goal is to become the kind of man who doesn't need anyone's regret for validation. The goal is to become someone who attracts genuine interest, not someone who has to create it through scarcity tactics. When you truly understand your worth, when you genuinely value your time and energy, when you have standards and stick to them, that's when everything changes. That's when you stop needing to try so hard, because your natural confidence and self-respect do the work for you. And that's when the right woman won't just regret losing you. She'll do everything in her power to make sure she never loses you in the first place. Remember this: you can't lose something you never had, and you never had someone who didn't appreciate you when you were giving your best. Stop trying to win over people who don't see your value. Start being the prize and watch how quickly the game changes. The moment you stop trying is the moment you start winning. Not because you're playing games, but because you're finally playing for the right team, your own.